Sup, Muggles? I'm Wes.
Oh no. Oh no. Just so you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Harry Potter. I was when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it. But I actually saw the first two movies in theaters when I was a kid, and then I remember not seeing the third one for like years. And I remember reading, I think I was reading the fifth book, and I can distinctly remember when I stopped caring. And I distinctly remember reading and being like, I just don't care anymore. Who's this guy now? Who are these other people?
I'm definitely a bigger fan than you are. I'm not like a huge Harry Potter nerd. I'm a nerd about a lot of other things, but I do I know the story. I've seen the movies. I've read the books a few times.
You've seen all the movies?
I've seen all the movies.
You made me watch all 8 Harry Potter movies. I don't even like Harry Potter. What are you talking about? You love Harry Potter. You've seen all 8 movies.
So, House Cup competition. You are playing. Each player takes on the role of one of the houses: Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and you are competing to win the House Cup, which is these cool little gems and this stand-up thing here. And the way you go about that is it's basically like a worker placement game. You've got all these spots out here that you go to either collect resources or to go to the classrooms and level up your stats over here. And then you can also do these basic lessons that also get you resources or level up stats or do some other things. Lots of stuff here to get better so that during the second phase of each turn, you can go over here and complete challenges that get you points for your house. So you're level up, go get points. Level up, go get points. And then after the end of 7 rounds, whichever house has the most points is the winner.
Now, obviously, the coolest part about this game is the fact that the points that you get are these little gems, and they go into this little thing. It's plastic with a cork top. Every gem is 10 points, but you never gain a point. You never gain 5 points. You always gain 10 points. So it just seems silly. I'm like, okay, this could have just been each one with 1 point.
Again, it's thematics, because in the books, it was never 1 point to Gryffindor. It was 10 points or 20 points. So thematically, they wanted you to end in the books. They're 150 points wins or something. So they wanted it to feel more like that. The other really cool component is, so on your house boards, you really control the 3 best known characters of that house, and then you've got Hufflepuff, which is just 3 random characters because no one cares about Hufflepuff. But as you level up their stats in potions, charms, and defense against the dark arts, you actually have these big plastic sliders that move up the track. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the sliders are cool, but they do have a relatively high spill factor. They're not really in there super well. I mean, it works. It's fine, but they probably could have been a little bit better, which is the biggest complaint that I have about this game. I mean, I have a couple, but the biggest one is that it's they put all of their money into making this thing awesome, which I do like, and then a little bit of money into making this pretty awesome, and then everything else is just pretty disappointing. All
their other dollars came to using pictures of Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ron Weasley on those tiny little tokens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I have no idea how the licensing thing works or whatever, but it does feel like maybe, they couldn't use these images too much, because when you look out on the board, it's all this, silhouette-y things. And I mean, a lot of games do that, and I get it, right? If you have to make it cost-effective, we can't put out a $200 game just because it has an IP on it. I mean, I get it and I understand it, but there is a little bit of sure, you're not going to use the same pictures, but you probably could have pumped it up a little bit more. You could have made it more colorful, a little bit nicer or whatever. It's just the board itself is kind of
drab.
Yeah. And all the I guess the books and the hats are at least colored on the board, but then when you pick up a card, it's just this dark it's just black and white sketchy.
Sketch, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between some things, because sometimes, hard challenge is this cup, an easy challenge is this, metal thing, but there is a symbol for either, which is, the cup with the metal, hanging on it, and sometimes when it's really small, you can't really tell that that's what the symbol is.
I didn't even realize that's what it was until, the second or third round of our first game, where Tom's like, oh, I can pick either one. I'm like, what? Says who? He's like, no, if you look really, really carefully at this little teeny tiny symbol, you can tell. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely my biggest complaint about the game, is that you look at this and this looks super awesome, and this is pretty cool, and everything else is just drab. Even your worker placement is with these tokens, and I'm like, if your worker placement give me meeples, give me pawn, like something that I can like pick up, not just a little token that then I'm trying to like see where it is and figure out what's going on.
And if you don't know Harry Potter, you don't know who these people are. Like,
yeah,
and it's important. Like I know who Harry Potter is, but
so over here,
literally every person in the Yellow House, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, Cedric Diggory, he's the Twilight vampire.
No, I recognize Robert Pattinson. I don't know where he belongs in there.
Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah.
Even like me, who's like, I recognize the names of all of these characters, and I was playing a Slytherin, and I'm like, I don't remember which one of these guys is Crabbe and which one of these guys is Goyle, because in the books they're fairly interchangeable. So, like, even that, being someone who likes Harry Potter, I still had to go look up who was who in the rulebook.
I mean, ultimately, as long as you're consistent, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's a thing that makes it seem like this game didn't have an awful lot of attention to detail in that department, in the graphic design or whatever. Not a lot of, well, maybe not attention to detail, but at least love,
Yeah.
Attention to detail for this specific part, but they didn't put a lot of love into it. They put love here. It's like that meme where, like, from that thing from The Simpsons where there's like,
out of the way, you.
They were like, aw, 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 get out of here.
And it's probably they were trying to tie it back into like the whole feel of if you have the books on your shelf, these are the colors used on them, and like in like the video games and stuff, these are similar symbols that are used throughout. Or
there are.
I'm guessing.
okay.
I mean, so some of it looks somewhat similar. Like I played the Pokemon Go version, the Harry Potter version of Pokemon Go for like a single day before I realized this is really stupid. And it's like some of that looked like art stylistic wise similar to some of this. So there's probably some continuity they were going for. It just, I feel like at that point it became form over function of we'd rather have it look similar to these things than be good to play with.
So enough about how it looked. Mechanically, though, it's pretty solid. It's, it's a very intro-y worker placement game. It's maybe not baby's first worker placement. I mean, you could show it to somebody for their first worker placement, but people who like worker placement games, I mean, they're still decisions, right?
Yeah.
This isn't my first Stone Age, It's like, I'm glad this game exists. I love the idea that this is going to get more people into the hobby or whatever.
Yeah, because they're going to play, like, Harry Potter Scrabble.
Right.
And then they're going to play Harry Potter Munchkin.
Or Codenames.
And then they're going to play Harry Potter, like, the Hogwarts Battle, which that's like the heavy game, but they feel like, ooh.
Deck building, and then here you're going to learn worker placement.
And the rulebook, it actually has, like, all of the other games listed out for that reason of, hey, Harry Potter people, welcome to board games. Like, come join us over here. You're nerds, we're nerds, let's have some nerd time together.
So yeah, mechanically, I like it. It's solid. I would play it again. It's light enough to where, I don't love it, but, if I wanted to show it to somebody and teach them worker placement, I'd be like, okay, well, at least I can have a good time and make some decisions. I do have some questions about balance, though. Every time I talk about balance, someone always goes, well, hang on, look at the math right here. But a lot of things just sometimes don't feel really balanced. Especially because the easy challenges and hard challenges, a lot of these cards are really tight in terms of points. Like, look, what we just flopped out here, there's a 20 point, a 20 point, and a 30 point. And then over here for hard challenges, there's a 40 point, a 40 point, and a 40 point. Now, they also do give you some other benefits, just more than just points. Sure. However, there's also this card over here, which is another cool thing. There are variable worker placement spots, so you can change them throughout the game.
And they unlock as the game progresses. I guess as you
Right.
as you get older, you go to new places as the story progresses.
Sure, there's like one that's always there, and then these two that open up here are a little bit more advanced. And then this last one is really advanced and has a lot of points on there.
Yeah.
The highest one is there's a single spot you can go to. There's a little bit of a requirement where you have to be
At level 5,
which you're gonna be by
year
then.
6 if you're not at level 5. Like,
yeah, you're definitely gonna be. So it was 30 points. And Wes went first and placed there. It's like, oh, I got 30 points. So I got 3 points more than you. And I was like, so unless I can go first next round, I can take that, which actually at that point I didn't have books, so I couldn't go to that spot. Yeah, you just won.
It was very much, it's not you get 30 points for going here first. It's you get 30 points because you're first player. Because objectively, nowhere else on the board can I go here and just have 30 points, because you're limited to like how many challenges you can face every turn, and you know each character can assign to only one challenge. So like you're at most going to be 2 cards there, but that's just 30 points in this round. So if I get 30 points for going there, and then I can still do just as many challenges as you.
Right, so if you do challenges and I do challenges, like if you and I are going to do 2 challenges every single turn, the variance isn't going to be that high. Like maybe you'll do a hard one when I didn't or whatever, and you'll get a couple more than me, right? I got 60 points from challenges, you got 70 points. Okay, but that's a 10-point variance. But that one, boom, 30 points. Okay, if I can't go there and get that 30 points, like again this round, let's say, how am I, at the end of the round, when we go to complete challenges, going to get 30 more points than you at that point? It's kind of not going to happen.
Yeah, and then like in this card that popped out, it's 10 points. That seems a little bit more reasonable, of like, okay, you just get 10 points.
And you get a challenge.
Yeah, and then I'm going to come over here and do something else that sets me up to complete a hard challenge. So maybe like I'm going to end up netting more points than you. Maybe it's better for you. Like a 10-point variance is doable. 30 points, though, that's a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, it's like the whole game was designed to be very tight, except for a couple swingy things. Like you also had one of these lessons, which are mostly just to give you little effects, help you get books and hats, maybe level up and stuff. But you got one that was just straight up 20 points. And I was like, okay, that's another just big jump. You know? That, like, again, getting 20 more points than you on here is possible. But these things are so tight and so close. Like the whole game is designed to be so tight, but then a couple things that just jump you up, and you're like, oh, okay.
They stashed a few points throughout the game that I guess thematically maybe makes sense, that just felt out of place. Like, oh, well, you just got those points that I didn't even have access to. Like at least these, it's like you may get a challenge before I get it, but we all have access to these challenges, and we have to do our best to gear up and collect them to go do them. Otherwise, it's like, oh, that point thing flopped out, and you went and like, oh, objectively, I have to go get those points because they only pop out every so often.
Right. That's where I feel like, maybe balance, maybe it isn't super duper balanced, but maybe you just want to play it because you like Harry Potter and you want to pretend you want to pretend you're Harry Potter, you're Hermione Granger, or you're Ron Weasley. I didn't have to look down for those names.
This definitely is, again, I agree. I'm glad this game exists, because it's really perfect for 2 people. Either the Harry Potter fan that is just getting into board games, and this will bring them more into the fold, or if you have friends that are Harry Potter fans that you want to play games with you, this is one where you can say, hey, let's compromise. We'll play a Harry Potter game, and that way you're going to kind of introduce them. And even if they don't go any farther, this is the game that when I'm hanging out with this group of people, we can still play a game. And especially because the OP has a line of Harry Potter games now, you've got some options.
So there you have it. Good, but not great. Probably for me, like a 6, right?
Yeah, like, it's worker placement, which means, like, it's definitely a decent game.
It's my favorite type of game,
Yeah, maybe a 5 for me. Like, on a scale of worker placement games, it's on the lower end of it.
Yeah, I get you. I'm just being nicer because I'm giving it a caveat of it's a game to serve a purpose. It's there to bring people into the hobby and whatnot.
And for some reason, we're numbering games, which we almost never do.
But recently, it's been feeling more appropriate. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna start doing it even more. This is a 6.25, 6.215.
Right. I'll give it a 5.16.
That's too high.
Anyway, if you want to pick up a copy of this game, we will put a purchase link in the description box down below where you can get yourself one.
And while you're down there, you can check out our link for Game Toppers. That's this awesome thing we're filming on right here. And also, while you're down there, you can like this video, you can comment, you can
share it with a friend who likes Harry Potter.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. So many things to do.
Abracadabra.
Da 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 ba ba